What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. We have a little bit of work ahead of us, but I think it's gonna spice things up just enough for this car to be just that much better. And one key thing to go ahead and keep the engine bay temps down even more than the heat wrap did, which worked perfect. We got one more piece to go on a part that creates a lot of heat in order to dissipate said heat. So another thing for cooling, always a plus when you only have a little half-size rat in there. Now, if you haven't watched last week's video, I'm gonna put a card up top here referencing to it. Go check it out, because at the very end of that video, after we messed around with the Accord and everything else, when we got to the Civic, I did a chat about it. And I wanted to chat in specific about the future of this car and what you guys want to see. Now, despite that video doing quite well on my channel, there wasn't a whole lot of feedback. So I'm going to do that here. This is our 94 built car. We've had it for 6 years. There's not many more mods to do for it. It's perfect. It's built. Now, do we sell it and move on to get another car that's content worthy, like a 350Z, a WRX or STI, E36, 46, something different, something new, something fresh, even an RSX Type S, K20A, you know, turbo, who knows? Is it time to move on, or do we reinvent the wheel with this car? It's a very, very, very quick summary, but I need to know, what do you guys want to see? Because I have big, big plans, and I don't know how much longer any of this is gonna be here. But that's at a positive for the YouTube, not a demise. Trust me, boys, it's gonna be good. Only on the ups. I'm really focused on content right now. But let me know, what do you think about the Civic? First thing first, this I would not consider a mod. These are literally black metal license plate frames, but we've never had plate frames on the car, and a bare plate always looks worse than something with a frame. So this isn't even a mod. I'm just gonna go ahead and chuck those on, but we finally just have plate frames. Second thing is kind of a bigger piece. Yes, it's just a red and black Alcantara shift boot, but if we go into the car, we used to run a shift boot, and now we've got this Circuit Hero plate. I'll get some light in here. The problem is that this car used to be an automatic. So when you look past the shifter plate, it looks freaking hideous. Looking down there with all that crap cut out of the tunnel for the automatic to manual swap doesn't look good. I think shift plates look awesome, but when it's an auto to manual swap and you have all that garbage going on down there, I don't think it looks so good. So my old shift boot was just rattered and tattered. That's why I went shift plate route. Now we got another shift boot, and I want to see how it looks with a fresh shift boot and nothing raggedy, and I just kind of want to see if it cleans that up. I love the shift plate, but like I said, auto to manual swap with all that garbage down there, it's just, I don't like it. And our biggest, most useful part of today's video is going to be something for the turbocharger itself. We finally went and got ourselves a turbo blanket. Honestly, I should have never run the car without it, because you can only imagine how much heat the hot side produces that close to the engine, the radiator, just spewing hot vomit air all over this engine bay. We got ourselves an actual real Turbo Guard turbo blanket. So no bullshit, no Amazon stuff that's gonna catch on fire. We also have their Turbo Guard for the inlet of the turbo, but now we've got a T3 turbo blanket that I think will look great there. Not only look better, but it's gonna keep the temps of this bay far cooler than letting a hot side of a turbo just breathe all over this engine bay with that smoking hot air. Now, I've never installed a turbo blanket before, but I built this whole car, so how hard can it be? You got little clips here and here with these springs that are obviously just gonna go on it, hold it in place. This is a T3, T4, TOE, whatever the hell turbo, and this is a T3 blanket. So fingers crossed it fits, but you never know till you know. Make sure I'm not taking anything else out of there. Fresh turbo blanket, Turbo Guard, the boys themselves right there, ready to rip. Let's try it out. All right, and essentially I think we're done about there. Since it's a top mount, everything is just harder to get at and access on this, and it is resting right up against the damn manifold, so I don't really know what to do about that. Gonna have to look into that. All right, guys, well, I hate to say it, but it is a fail on the turbo blanket. I know, you can make it work, blah, blah, blah. It does look good there, but as you can tell, it's a little bit too big. I think my hot side is just a little bit too small for this blanket. The reason being, this blanket is so big, there's so much play, but it's also completely sitting squished in against the hot side of the turbo and my turbo manifold. And on this side, you guys can hardly see it, but the button that you put the spring onto on this side is fully wedged in between the oil drain and the runner there. So like there's no real way of getting the spring on it when it's wedged in like that. And I've been sitting here for like 15-20 minutes moving it around, trying to jiggle it into place and figure it out. Like this side you could tie up. This side, the button is completely wedged in between the runner and the oil drain. Like, I'm not kidding. There's like probably a ½ an inch to an inch worth of room between the turbo and that runner. And it just completely squishes it in place. And it does look good, although it does look way too big for the turbo and the engine bay. It takes up so much room, it's actually insane. Turbo blanket going back in the bag where it came from. It's just the wrong size. It's just too big for this setup. The buttons are crushed. The springs won't stretch around it. It's such a small hot side. Like, this is tiny. This is my whole hand, and I can basically wrap it around the whole hot side. It's a very baby turbo because it's a bone stock engine, but unfortunately we've taken one L today. Let's hope the other two parts give us some success. Let's move on to this shift boot. So here we have them both, new one, old one. You might be asking yourself, I mean, dude, this shift boot is exactly the same as this shift boot. And yes and no. This silver ring I don't plan to run for long. I want to get a hybrid racing chicane shift knob for it that comes with a new collar that says hybrid racing, so the stupid chrome thing is not going to be a thing for very long. Not only that, as you notice on all the seams, 1, 2, we have red stitching. 1, 2, we have more red stitching. All 4 seams are matching. This thing, being old and pilled like crazy, has 1, 2, 3 seams matching, but the 4th seam is just insewn. It literally looks so weird, and I'm one OCD motherfucker. Without that one strip here being red stitched and it showing crazy signs of age, like all the pilling and everything, it's time for this thing to go. And I figured if I'm gonna put a boot back on the car because of how bad it looks with the plate being an automatic to manual swap, I want a shift boot that's sewn the same on all 4 sides. And like I said, don't worry about this junky, ricey looking chrome plated thing. The hybrid, when the hybrid racing comes in, it's gonna fix all that. Black and red hybrid racing knob with the red collar, black and red suede boot that's stitched on all 4 sides. I think it'll be better. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at what we're working with. This is the stock Civic shift plate that it's fastened to. It looks like the ricer in me decided that yellow tape was the move to hold this unit on. Apparently it's quite hard to get off, so maybe it actually wasn't the worst idea ever because it never fell off and it's actually stuck on there pretty damn well, I can't lie. Holy shit, guys. I was genuinely on to something with the yellow tape. Look at how much, like, this stuff works. I just had to work this thing for way too long to get that to work. But it's nice that we have this old boot because I can kind of map it out and make the cuts where we need to make them in order to get this new shift boot on this plate. And I think it'll be just perfect. We have got one side already fastened. Now it's just time to rinse and repeat that. My kind of course of action is to do the side ones on the middle tab because it's not quite big enough to reach all 3. So we're gonna go ahead and work off the middle tab, try to get it as center as possible so we still have enough slack to pull this side up and then have enough slack to pull this side up. And then once that's complete, it should be mint perfect just like that. We can go ahead and install it in the car. I might even take this stupid little ring out right away and just zip tie the top of this to the bottom of the actual shifter because like I said, this will be getting replaced. This, I don't know who decided to put some faux chrome shit on this, but that's gotta go. But let's speed this up. Let's get this other side connected so we can get this damn thing in the car and get a move on. All right, boys, and there we have it with no yellow tape. Everything's even, everything's nice, everything's tucked up. This chrome cap has to go, that just drives me nuts. But everything is beauty. Nice little suede, red stitched shift boot. As you can see here, we got 2 of the side runners connected on the butterfly, and then on the top and bottom, we got both the butterflies through. Everything is looking mint. There's tons of slack for everything and shifting. So let's go ahead and get this installed in the car and see if it looks any better than the shift plate from Circuit Hero. All right, after a bit of a wrestle, we've got it out. Let's switch them out now. Wow, cup holder went right open there. Anyways, here's the Circuit Hero shift plate. Another gripe I have with it is the laser etching has literally come off on the Hero, and I hardly touched this. I don't know how that happened or why that happened, but it came off. I really like this clean, simplistic design of shift boot delete shift plate, but like I said, seeing through the tunnel and seeing everything cut up from the auto to manual swap just doesn't do it for me. So we've got 1, 2 screws and a push plate on the back. Take those out, slide this out, get the new one in, and let's check out the transformation. Bye-bye our beautiful Circuit Hero shift plate. If only the car was a factory manual, this would have been perfect. All right, now with that fitted and installed, there we have it. A new shift boot is in the center console. Like I say, guys, I don't know how you feel about it. Put it in the comments below, but I think this is just gonna look a whole lot cleaner with our, honestly, just mess of a transmission tunnel there. I think this is gonna look sweet. It's chrome cap. I've said it like 17 times in this video. Absolutely drives me up the wall. I might just go ahead and take that off right now. God, this thing is hideous, man. I can't even deal with that. Now we can zip tie it to the actual knob, and just not having that there, it already looks better. Let's move into the car and get this installed. First things first, our equally hideous knockoff Skunk 2 shift knob has got to come off, and so does the adapter. But I'm gonna need a tool to get that adapter off, because that is on there. Unless we have enough room to just skim by sliding it over, I'll have to check. Looks like we might be able to just squeak it over. Yes, success. Boom, and just like that, we have a shift boot that stays up and has more than enough play there. Let's go ahead and put our knob back on. And there we have it. Goes into every gear without falling down. I would say that's a damn success. I think this looks a lot better than the shift plate, if I'm being totally honest. All right, boys, and there we have it. New shift boot installed, goes into every gear. Honestly, I just think that looks so much better than the shift plate. You can't see the mess of automatic to manual swap. It just looks the part now. Honestly, like it really does. I like the way it came out. I'm happy with it. I can shift it into every gear and it doesn't move. We still have this kind of god-awful knockoff Skunk 2 shift knob on there, but at least it has the H pattern. I'd like to get the Hybrid Racing black and red chicane shift knob. I think that would tie it in together super well. But regardless, we now have a shift boot installed in the hatch. All right, now that the shift boot is done, it's a bummer that the turbo blanket failed, but it's just the wrong size and it is what it is. But now that we've got one thing done, we have one more thing left to do. Get some damn plate frames on these plates, because considering in BC you need to run front and rears, I need some sort of frame, because just a plate on the car isn't cutting it. Once that's done, we're gonna go ahead, open up the shop, pull the car outside, and I'm gonna get some beauty shots of everything we've done today. We're gonna go ahead and wrap up the video. But let's move on to getting some plate frames on these ugly ass plates that I have to put all over my car. Like I said, they're just standard black plate frames, nothing fancy. They don't say anything on them, but we got them. We got some hardware that I don't even know if I'm going to use, but let's get these on the car, get it pushed out, and get some nice shots. Okay, license plate frames are installed. Bit of a hassle, but I think it looks a lot better. Just anything on there rather than a bare plate is better. Let's get the garage open and let's get some glam shots of everything we've done today out in the nice sun. Let's get this thing fired up, see what she looks like outside. Ooh. New shift boot looking way better, hiding up the mess of automatic to manual. Prime this thing up. Fires right up, boys, every time. Alright boys, and there she is. Shift boot installed, license plate frames installed. This thing is mint and ready to go. There we go. I think the plate frames did a lot. It's minimal, it's hardly anything. Shift boot cleaned up the auto to manual swap. Looking good. Bummed out about the turbo blanket, but hey, what are you gonna do, boys? What are you gonna do? Lots more content coming for you, a lot more exciting, cool stuff on the way as well. Big life changes, big channel changes coming very soon. Stay tuned and get excited. But till next time, boys, with the Civic rumbling in the background, comment, like, subscribe. I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.